Near mint condition, the home of collected editions.
That cover's so awesome.
Absolute format is the best way to own this store. Time to empty those wallets and fill those shelves. How's it going, everybody? This is the Uncanny Omar from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And today's the day. Today's the day I get to take you on a wild ride. That's right, we're going to be doing a walkthrough of my collected editions library, 2025 edition. So join me. Alright, this time around, normally I do these and I kick it off with the Omnis, but this time around I wanted to talk about just the other collected editions that I have, which are trade paperbacks or standard size hardcover. So we're going to kick it off with Marvel. Up there we have the Spider-Man Epic Collections mixed in with Marvel Premiere, and also old trade paperbacks that I never upgraded because I'm like, oh, one day they're going to give us a omnibus or hardcover of the Identity Crisis. But also next chapter I kept because I gave away my John Byrne omnibus, and I think that makes for a better reading order. Up at the very, very top is where you're going to see the Brand New Day and Big Time hardcovers. And then, of course, everything is in alphabetical order for Marvel and in chronological order. So I go across this way between these two Billies. People always ask me what these are. This video is not sponsored by IKEA. But these are Billies for my trade paperbacks, and they've held on strong. I've had these for about 8 years now. So, you know, we move on to Avengers, and my wife, when she was helping me, was like, wait, why is New Avengers here? And I'm like, because it is in the reading order of Avengers. That happens before Jonathan Hickman's run. It happens before Jason Aaron's run. Just trust me. So it is really fun to put this stuff in reading order or in chronological order. Sometimes I put a book in there in, like, publishing order. Here's Captain America. Look how many epics we have. That's insane. And of course, the modern era Epic Collection looking different. And then other Captain America books that haven't been collected in big, thick editions or omnis. I don't like to keep the same story more than one time. I'm okay with just having it once. But ever since I started doing reading orders on the channel, I have to give, like, options. I have to keep some books. So that's why you'll see a masterworks shelf now. I used to give away... I sold all my masterworks about 8 years ago now, 9 years ago. Ooh, it's been a long time. And then when I started doing reviews for Marvel, they started sending me some, and I gave a bunch away. And then I thought, wait, I probably need these for reading orders so I can kind of give people options later on. So moving down here, we've got Daredevil. Also, see, still keeping this trade because that's just the way I am. As a matter of fact, yeah, this is, yeah, between Underboss and Out. Because this has another story that's not collected yet in Epic. The Defenders, and then Doctor Strange. I think these are all the Doctor Strange epics so far. Then, of course, moving into the other era of Doctor Strange. Some of it, again, I have an oversized hardcover. The Fantastic Four here, still keeping these two because we need these epics in here. Of course, we need the John Byrne era in Epic Collection. Much like Daredevil. Daredevil, we still need, like, Frank Miller's era. Heroes Return, we still don't have the Omnibus. I think this is the only Heroes Return books we don't have an omnibus for, because we have Thor, we have Avengers, we have Captain America, we have Iron Man, but we have no Fantastic Four. Moving on to Ghost Rider, which is getting some love, and then, of course, Guardians of the Galaxy, which I've given away, I think, all of my Epic collections, or modern epics, because I have the Omnis, and I like the way the Omnis are mapped. Hawkeye over here getting a lot of love, like 4 of those. We only have 3 Marvel 2-in-1s, and here's the Incredible Hulk, along with Bruce Jones run. I kept those, and I got rid of my hardcovers because they never finished Bruce Jones run in hardcover format. We have more of the Hulk stuff. What is it, Christian? Oh, yeah. By the way, big shout out to my cameraman, Christian, who's also my co-host for this, asking me questions.
When you do pleasure reading, do you prefer epics or omnis?
Omnis. I'm not a monster, Christian. Yeah, Omnis, dude. I'm 46. By the time this video airs, I might be 47. And it's getting harder to read those tiny little fonts. But yeah, Omnis. I think Omnis is my favorite format. Even keeping things like MODOK, because you never know when you're going to need a MODOK reading order. Moving on to Moon Knight, which again I have the Omnis and I kept the epics to see like what the mappings are in case they're different. Um, Punisher, unfortunately, that's all the Punisher we have in the epic format. Hopefully, one day we'll get it in an omnibus format or more epics. Actually, what we need is more epics. We have the Sentry down there, Spider Girl, replacing the complete collections with the modern epics, and that's all of Silver Surfer so far. Norrin Rad's gotten a lot of love in epic format. And what ends up happening is Marvel will sometimes reprint a lot of their skinny trade paperbacks. Like this is a series of Shang-Chi, all of it by Jean Luen Yang, and they had them released in like 4 different skinny trades, and then they reprinted them in a big thick trade. It's not a saga, it's not a complete collection, it's not a modern era, it's just like Shang-Chi by Jean Luen Yang. And then down here we have Thor. Thor also getting a lot of love in epic format. Thunderbolts down there, which I've replaced a ton of those. I don't think I've given away all my Thunderbolt epics because I have the Omnis, Tomb of Dracula, and then Venom down there with the new Venom series. So those are all modern era epic Venoms. I think I've given away all the classic Venom. And Ultraman mixed in with the Ultimate. So moving on over here. Where are the X-Men? X-Men get their own shelves. Now, something you are going to see as we're going through here is like, whoa, those shelves need to be replaced. You're right, they do. These shelves are about 20 years old. The next 3 we're about to see. And they're starting to bow. Like, and these aren't from IKEA. These I think I got from like Walmart when it was actually before Melanie and I started dating. So they've had several moves, and yeah, these are the ones. So the next time I do this tour next year, you'll see actual wooden shelves here because that's what I'm going to end up replacing everything with. I mean, you have expensive books, right? Why not have something that will last and hold together? So yeah, this is all my X-Men trade paperbacks. This is where a lot of the reading orders come from. And you're white. Wait, you have the Omnibus. I know, but I love X-Men. I don't keep all of them. I've given away a lot of Excalibur Epic collections. I have given away some of the X Factor, some of the New Mutants Epic collections. I do keep all of Wolverine, just in case, because you never know. I even buy Wolverine that I don't like because I'm a completist, and that is the curse of being a completist. Astonishing X-Men. This is all, yeah, you may have seen this if you've seen all my reading order. This wonderful piece right here by Andrew Lee Griffith that he did for me. Starscream. Oh, love that. And
What's your favorite X team?
X Team? Like X-Men? Ooh. Whoa! That's not supposed to be. That's supposed to be the Masterworks. My family has failed me. This is what happens when I get them. Look, big shout out to my family for helping me, by the way, clean this up. X-Men. X-Men Blue is my favorite. Not the Cullen Bunn stuff. Nothing wrong with the Cullen Bunn stuff, but just X-Men Blue. I love that era of X-Men. The Jim Lee splitting it up. But if I have to just pick one, Outback. The Outback X-Men era. I love it. Longshot, Dazzler, Rogue, Storm, Wolverine, all those folks. Havoc. And then, yeah, these are the different series of X-Men's every time there's a reboot. And did I say X-Men's? Wow.
Yes.
That's not a word. And even some things that I was gifted, like this right here is X-Men Elsewhen by John Byrne that one of my viewers sent me. You'll also see a custom omnibus later on of that. And then down here, of course, is the complete Krakoa era in reading order. Not in publishing order, not in the chronological order, but in the suggested reading order. And let me tell you, when you get to Fallen House, woo, it becomes a mess. So there is more Marvel, which we'll look at here in a little bit, like some Masterworks and, of course, the Omnis. But let's move on. Like, up there we have some Oni Press. I love the Six Gun. It's one of my favorite series that Cullen Bunn did. We have some Valiant. We have Classic Valiant. We've got Night. So 90s Valiant, 2012 Valiant, and then new Valiant up there. We've got some Boom and Image hardcovers. Again, when I get the new shelves, I have to redo this. But over here is where you're going to see, like, Vault. This is a beautiful hardcover. And Hayden Sherman is now drawing Absolute Wonder Woman. Some obscure books, obscure in like their shape, right? Like because they're landscape size. Oh, they're great. And some big books, Parker, the Martini edition, Sky Doll, which is beautiful. And then we move on to like Image and Dark Horse oversized hardcovers, like big books like Criminal and East of West. Have been asking if they're going to reprint that, and I'm really hoping that they do soon. I hope that they reprint. I know that Jonathan Hickman has stated that he's just doing a one print or a reprint. He did one, so he did a total of 2 print runs, and that's it. But I think it's always the last tour until the next one. 5 Ghosts, and then I try to keep it in alphabetical order. But then sometimes I let people borrow stuff. Sometimes I want to go back and reread things. But here's like the big slipcase editions, and this is one that I hope and let me see if I can get it out. Of course, when I need to get it out. Oh, this is my wife's. Like she loves different incarnations of Beowulf. That's like one of her favorite stories. But this is the slipcase of Battle Chasers. You don't see it on the spine. This is an old slipcase that they did at Image, and I would love, absolutely love, for them to reprint this with the other issues. But they don't do a lot of slipcase editions unless it's like Skybound with The Walking Dead or Invincible. Still have the poster too in here, but this is a beautiful slipcase edition. What is the other one? Spawn. Like McFarlane does a lot of the big slipcase editions. And there's Girls, Sword, and Ultra. I think I'm missing one of those from the Luna Brothers. Those have a lot of like horror elements to them. Desolation Jones, and then down here. See, so I'll have to like shift things apart. Like Lazarus Volume 4 is coming out later, so I'll have to make room for that and shifting things around. You have Monstrous and Middle West, Paper Girls. Telos. I love Telos so much, I actually bought the new edition without the dust jacket up here. This is the original one. Rest in peace to Mike Wieringo. Copra, I'm hoping more, because that is such an underrated title. Down here, like, see, for people that point out, hey man, your books are backwards. Yeah, sometimes I do that on purpose. Sometimes it's on accident. So let me know if you find something like a 2 before a 1. Rat Queens, they don't do many Omnis at Image, but hopefully they'll start getting into the game. And then these beautiful editions from Gillen and McKelvey. And down there, some trade paperbacks and some books that I really enjoyed, like Berlin. These 2 were sent to me by my buddy Kyle. Wonderful series. Alec right there by Eddie Campbell. Bone, this is the hardcover in color. And then these are like slipcase editions here. The Boys, of course, these are out of print, but they reprinted them because of you all, a couple of years ago, asked to be reprinted in a omnibus format. Over here, it's just some more hardcovers, and I'm shifting things around to make room. Like you have Which Way, like Darkness 3, I think, is out. And then you have Black Hammer over here. And I actually have some of the Dark Horse era oversized hardcovers of Aliens and Predator, which is amazing to look at. Like, especially, oh my gosh, Dead Orbit in this format. And I know that it's been printed in the omnibus format, but I just love big oversized hardcovers, and the library editions were great. I think this is one of the last ones they did at Dark Horse before moving over to Marvel.
Have you been enjoying the Marvel Aliens Predator comics?
Yeah. Surprisingly, actually, I like the Predator a little bit more. And then that Burke, What If Burke, that thing was awesome. Way better than I thought it was going to be. Down here, some of the Boom stuff in deluxe hardcover. And I have all of Irredeemable, but I wanted to go ahead and get this. And then, of course, I ended up with a old version of the Incorruptible. And then there's Insufferable, Irredeemable. Jim and the Holograms, which I wish they had done more, by Kelly Thompson. This is a beautiful book that they reprinted by Yoshitaka Mano. And who's the Mink? Is the writer. This is the second printing of it. But Dark Horse does a lot of great stuff. Once in Future over here, which is wrapped up. Down there we have some Wasteland. I did not do the Kickstarter for Lumberjanes, and I kind of kicked myself for not doing that. And then, of course, these are the original compendiums. that kind of fell apart. So I'm worried these will eventually fall apart. I actually need to get rid of those. Grim Fairy Tales. Don't judge. I get it for the articles. Lady Killer. What is Gunfighter doing? That shouldn't be there. And then down here, some more slipcases of bigger editions. And then some Kickstarter stuff down here. Umbrella Academy and the Fabulous Killjoys. And now we move on to the DC books. So over here are the trades of DC, standard size hardcover. Sometimes a deluxe edition will make it in because I kind of like to keep things in reading order. Sometimes I like to keep little statues that I was gifted in front of my DC books. But again, going across, so you have starting off with Aquaman, which doesn't have a lot, but you have Batman, which will eventually be getting replaced by the DC's Finest because they're killing it with that line right now. We've got one so far and a second volume coming out later on. We've got some of these actually I have already in Omnibus editions, and I just forgot to give some of those away. And then, yeah. So again, in reading order, and sneaking into this shelf over here is more Batman in reading order. Now we're getting into Batgirl, who's getting her own DC Finest. My favorite Batgirl, Cassandra Cain. Birds of Prey, hopefully that will get an omnibus one day. Booster Gold, baby! Booster Gold. I don't think there's a second volume of that yet. I need to check on that. This is being reprinted, The Brave and the Bold, in case you haven't read it. It's excellent. Catwoman by Jim Ballen has been replaced by the DC Finest now, so those kind of become obsolete. Then we have things that have never been really collected outside of like trade, like Countdown. There wasn't like a big Countdown trade like 52. There was no omnibus, so I just keep them here. There's Dark Crisis, Dial H for Hero, which doesn't get enough recognition. It's a solid book, and of course Flash, which I know I have Flash by Mark Waid, Omnibus Volume 1. Volume 2 is coming out in February, maybe by the time you're watching this. But again, Flash in reading order, Gotham Academy.
Which Crisis did you like the most?
Infinite. Infinite is my favorite Crisis. Green Arrow, which I do have the omnibus, so I could probably gift those. And then I do have the New 52 era that is collected, or I mean, I store those elsewhere. Then we go into Green Lantern. Now, Green Lantern I do keep in chronological order. Don't think we'll ever see this stuff get finished. Problematic creators, man. Affect everybody. But what are you going to do? Invasion. So I actually have the events in there as well. Miniseries. That's a milestone book that needs to be somewhere else, actually. These are custom Omnis that my buddy Kyle sent me. But at the time, DC wasn't doing justice to the JLA books. So these are done in proper reading order. And then, of course, they started releasing these. So these are the way to collect them. Not compendiums, not DC Finest. Tower of Babel, and then we get into the Justice League. This is one of the most underrated stories right here. The Injustice League by Dwayne McDuffie. Oh my gosh, he's so good. And Ed Benes. Dwayne McDuffie that wrote just about every single episode of the Justice League cartoon. Phenomenal writer, gone too soon. We have The Kingdom, which is the follow-up to Kingdom Come, the New Justice Society. Legends, which I'll be able to get rid of this old trade one day. Oh, the Suicide Squad Omnibus will have all of Legends, because that's where they make their first appearance. Legion of Superheroes, very underrated run right here is the Andy Lanning and Dan Abnett with Olivier Coipel run. This is before they went over to Marvel to do the modern era Cosmic Saga. Nightwing, which I have in Compendium, which I have in Custom Omnis. I just love it so much. Nightwing by Tom Taylor. Poison Ivy, which was a huge surprise hit for me last year. It was excellent. Power Shazam. At least we got Volume 2. It's not a hardcover like it was solicited as, but what are you going to do? Over here is my favorite Robin, and that is Tim Drake. Love his Robin run. We do have a compendium of that. And we're getting, we're getting a second of Nightwing. Suicide Squad, soon to be replaced by, hopefully, 3 Omnis. I think it's the way that they've got them mapped. And then we've got Superman. Lots of Superman. Lots of Superman. And some of it has been already replaced by Omnis. So sometimes I make decisions like, okay, I need to replace this because I have the Omnibus and I need to make room. Like I have to do that eventually with Green Arrow. I got to do that with Batman. Um, but some of the stuff will be collected in Omnibus format, and I'll end up replacing it. I'm surprised we never got this this era of Jeff Johns. We have an Absolute, but no Omnibus. And then of course more of the Superman titles over here. Moving on to Trinity, another one of those 52 issue series that not a lot of people dug. And Wonder Woman. So we do have the Wonder Woman. I'm actually putting that up for to see if people want a reading order of that. And then we have the New 52 era. So the New 52 era I do keep separate from the rest of the DC universe because it's almost like a pocket universe. And again, it spans across those two shelves. And then we get some of the newer series. So I do have to rearrange some stuff. Some of the Wildstorm stuff. And then down there we have compendiums. And some of the DC Finest, which again, I'll have to end up making room for. Some Rebirth titles are down there as well, DC Rebirth. Some have been replaced by hardcovers or Omnis, though. And we have more DC to look at, but wanted to come over here, where we have these shelves, like the Ninja Turtles, which I love. My favorite incarnation of Ninja Turtles is the IDW. And that's kind of being rebranded and not really rebooted, but just they're doing like a soft reboot, if you will, with Jason Aaron's run. We have 2 more deluxe editions to go through. Over here is the Disney stuff. I kind of slowed down the Disney Masters. I don't have the nostalgia for it, but I've got a couple more books coming, and then more of the Disney stuff that were released overseas. These are the original printings of the life and times of Scrooge McDuck when Kaboom, or rather the Boom Kids brand did this, and it's one of my favorite books because Don Rosa signed this for Omar and scratched out Walt Disney. He's like, Walt Disney had nothing to do with this. I love Don Rosa, and he signed this for me. This one means a lot to me because, oh man, this book, when it went out of print, it just became like volume 2 was a pain to try to find. The companion was also a pain, so I kept them. I have them already in the Fantagraphics editions, but I really like these. And then I need to gift that to Tina, the 5 years. That is hers. Over here are some custom stuff that I've gotten over the years for Transformers. But hey, real compendiums are coming out now of that stuff from Skybound Image. The IDW era, and then the manga over here. And there will be a manga tour later this year. And if Christian feels like coming back over here to film, that would be awesome.
What are you kidding? I love it here.
Oh, awesome. Okay. The Duck books in chronological order. This is, of course, the Carl Barks Library, which I cannot believe we're finally getting a volume 1 this year. We have been waiting, 12 years now for that? It's insane. More Duck books. Obviously, I love Duck books. G.I. Joe, unfortunately, did not finish the IDW era in deluxe hardcover edition. They stopped it, which sucks because it was a solid series. The compendiums are coming out, so maybe one day Skybound can print these. I know these compendiums are different because they're softcover, but they're printed in this newsprint type of paper that makes this really, really light. It doesn't feel like a heavy compendium book compared to like DC's compendiums. And compendiums do really well at bookstores. I think a couple years ago I hinted at, oh yeah, you're going to be hearing about this and this. I didn't say what, but I knew. But I couldn't say a word. It's not up to me to say things unless people want me to announce them.
Oh, for the Kickstarters?
Yeah, the Kickstarter for that. Now, Transformers, we'll see. And down here is more IDW era. We've got Ragnarok, which I got some awesome news about Ragnarok, but again, I can't say a word. These are cute. These are the notes right here from James Roberts when he was making this series up for More Than Meets the Eye. And it's just really cool, like, to have his notes, because my daughter and I, for Lydia, #1 world fan, love this era of Transformers. Again, IDW. Fallen Angel, underrated series from Peter David. Rings of the... This right here is such a beautiful adaptation. This is the Ring of Nebulum. Sure, that's how you say it. But P. Craig Russell, when can that guy do wrong? Oh, solid. And why do I have this? This I have for a Oh, somebody gifted me this. Oh, because we haven't released it in America yet. RoboCop Frank Miller over here. So a lot of this stuff I keep because licensing, right? Whenever you're dealing with IP, who knows the next time this is going to be reprinted. I want to say Dark Horse owns it now, the rights to that. Ghostbusters by IDW, another license that they lost, so they didn't get to finish it out. So these are two customs right here compared to these. Sonic the Hedgehog, which they still have the rights to. Some of the Godzilla stuff. And then down there's what my buddy Kyle sent me. Those are custom Dreamwave Transformers Omnis. These are crazy. This stuff, that out of everything, when people ask my honest opinion, this is the stuff I don't think will ever be collected. Just because there's just too much damage that was done by Pat Lee and his brother with this company. When the company went bankrupt, they were out buying sports cars instead of paying their artists and writers. So a lot of the people that worked on these books didn't get paid for months. And if they were to reprint this, it would be difficult, right? So yeah, when people ask my honest opinion, IDW, sure, one day that stuff will be reprinted. Marvel, obviously they're doing it. But Dreamwave, oof, that's a tough one. I think that ship has sailed as far as getting it printed. There were some trade paperbacks of that stuff. And then the original Ninja Turtles compendiums down there. And if you're interested in some of the books that we've looked at so far, check out our sponsor in Canada. BD Cosmos, the Canadian leader in graphic novels. They have a physical storefront in Montreal, Quebec, and their website, bdcosmos.com, offers 25% off your order of over $99 or more, and free shipping everywhere in Canada for every order of $250 or more.
Their shipping care is exceptional. Your books will stay cozy through the rough Canadian weather and arrive to you in near mint condition.
After checkout, let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way, and you'll be added to the monthly $25 gift card raffle. Entries are valid for new and returning customers.
Don't be afraid to call or email them. Ask them questions. Their staff is always happy to help guide you towards the right purchase. Visit their website, bdcosmos.com, for more. BD Cosmos, with rewards and raffles taking care of customers in Canada. Eh?
Right, let's move on to some stuff from overseas or stuff you may not have heard of. So up here we do have a shelf, and it's on the other side too, but you can see the Love and Rockets box set here. We do have some Judge Dredd. This is the Judge Dredd. There's a little bit difference here. This is the restricted files of Judge Dredd. And this shelf, I mean, honestly, the folks at 2000 AD are just wonderful. They love my overviews, and they've sent me a bunch of books my way. My read-through of Judge Dredd is continuing this year. A lot of things were skipped last year because a lot of personal things happened. I lost my dad, and it really, losing my dad was, just put everything on hold for me. And I still had to do work. I still had to read. But I found less and less enjoyment reading for fun. So I kind of put a stop on anything that I was doing, like reading orders or where to start reading or just doing Judge Dredd reviews. But, I know my dad would not want me mourning and all the time, maybe a little bit. But so I've kind of gotten back into it. So I'm on volume, what is it? I am on volume 33 or 34. This one here, 33 right now. So hopefully the next chunk will come out sometime early this year. But here it are some wonderful books from 2000 AD. They're a great company. They're based out of the UK and just put out so many massive hits. For a lot of people, Judge Dredd, I'm going to come back over here to show you, Judge Dredd, was where they found out about folks like Grant Morrison or even Mark Miller or Alan Grant, John Wagner. These are folks that came over here eventually, which is just crazy. Steve Dillon, just people like that. Cam Kennedy, Kevin O'Neill, just people that have been around for a while. Now, what you'll notice here is, Judge Dredd, these are the case files that are in black and white, but then they started shifting over to color, and you'll start seeing a little bit of the color, I think in this volume. or I guess no, it's straight up volume 12, which is where they're using a different paper stock. They'll start using the glossy paper stock now. But that's really cool. These are the best way to collect these books. There are limited edition hardcovers of these, but I think this is just the best. Then my buddy Super Laugh Hard sent me some books that are out of print. I think he found me a Judge Anderson volume 2, which is just crazy. We have some magnetic press. I have a really good friend of the channel, Mitch Omnibuddy, who works for them. And they've sent me some books over these. These are some of the ones I've kickstarted or my buddy Kyle has sent my way. We got a slipcase edition here, the Disney comics from around the world in 100 years. This was one of my favorite reads, but I didn't get to finish it until this year. Oh my gosh, what a powerful read. Jacques Tardet is a phenomenal creator. And then we've got one of my favorite reads last year, which isn't really a read because there are no words. There's no dialogue except for the introduction by the little narrator frog. But this is amazing. I love Christian Slade's Corgi. This is the complete series. Something's Killing the Children, which is still continuing. The kind folks at Ghost Machine sent me their deluxe editions, and this is from Abrams Books over here, the Fantastic Four, and Shaolin Cowboy from Dark Horse. Getting to work with a lot of the publishers over the years. I've been running this channel. This year will be like 10 years that I've been doing this. And this is a question I get often, and we can just go through here. So I'll talk a little bit about this. Like, how do you get publishers to send you books? Like, it's not like that was the game plan, right? The game plan was not to be doing this for a living. I am very blessed and very lucky to be doing this for a living, and I am very humbled by that still. I have told this story many times about losing my job in IT. Super laugh hard again. Oh my gosh. And then my buddy Partworks sent me some other stuff. Just amazing stuff. And then custom ones down there. But I lost my job in IT after 20 years. I didn't know what to do in 2020. Just like a lot of people. Luckily, the channel had been around for a while and started getting momentum. And I had been doing announcements for Marvel. Picked up a few sponsors. And then 2020 was bad for a lot of us because we lost our jobs. But a lot of people were home, and the channel just blew up. But even then, I was a realist. I was like, okay, if it blows up, and we'll come around this way, by the way. These folks from Living the Line, wonderful creators there, too. Even if I lose my, 90% of the people watching me right now during the pandemic, can I still do this? So it wasn't as easy as, I just lost my job. I'm going to do this for a living. It was more like, I lost my job. What am I going to do now? So it took about 5 months for me and trying to find something else in 2020. And after being a project manager for for the last 7 years, and then before that I was in IT, it was just impossible. Nobody was, all I would get offers for were contract work. And at my age, with my kids, I needed health insurance and I needed security. So I said, if I'm going to go back to the beginning of my career, I'm going to do something that I think I could be good at. So that's where Near Mint Condition took off. And these are books, by the way, from the wonderful folks at Humanoids, Oni Press, again, Magnetic Press, just different publishers. A lot of these I bought. People think immediately, oh, you get every book for free. No, I buy a lot of books. I still buy a lot of books. To do overviews, and also I like to collect books. And I like to show love to creators like Terry Moore, who has given me Strangers in Paradise and Rachel Rising. Here's some Humanoids books. But yes, when people see and ask me, how do you get free books? That's not what I was trying to do at the beginning. Was just reviewing stuff and talking about things I enjoy. And now that I've been doing this for 10 years, I actually can talk to publishers and kind of be like an advisor to what people want. More Magnetic Press stuff. They put out wonderful books. One of my favorite things about Magnetic Press is their curved ends instead of a sharp end. They do curved ends, so you can always tell it's a Magnetic Press book. And they put out wonderful books. They do quite a bit of Kickstarters too. But even before they reached out to me, I've been getting Magnetic Press books. Paper Cuts over here, which has now been absorbed by Mad Cave. So I remember Mad Cave was one of the very first companies that reached out to me. Hey, would you be interested in reviewing some of our books? And I've made announcements for them. I've held interviews since then. So it has been a blessing to be doing this and just to talk to different publishers. This is one of my favorite European releases, Peter Pan. It is a dark take on Peter Pan, but the artwork is phenomenal. This has been, I think, I can't remember. I don't have, this isn't the American version. This is the original release, but it is dark and gritty, and it is the same. This is the same artist that did the artwork for Mulan, Loisel. And there's the Elric box set down there, Snowpiercer. So Dark Horse, Boom Studios, Cinebooks. Oh, I love these guys. Look, these are upside down. Man, what the heck, dude? Who did this? I'm not sure what Universal War's doing there. That's an image book. Sometimes this is when I start looking for books. I'm like, I know I have it somewhere. Torpedo never came out here in English as a complete collection. So I had the when I was in Spain, I bought this. I was at a store and I'm like, well, I got to get it. It is a Spanish book. And if you've never read it, it's a beautiful crime noir story. Dude, it's so good. IDW translated it. It is released in America. I don't think they collected all of it, though. But they never... The complete hardcover got canceled, unfortunately. Lone Sloan, which is just... If you've never seen any of Droulet's artwork, it's... it's a weird fever dream, but it's so beautiful. Like, stuff like that. This is another one of my favorite series. So I need to do my favorite, like, Euro series. I need to go back and redo, like, my favorite Dark Horse series. Castle in the Stars. This is a French comic book. This is book 1. Alex Alice. I actually have the art book of this. Oh, look at that art, man. This is like a Studio Ghibli film. So beautiful. One of my favorite European releases. Unfortunately not finished. Oh, The Leading Girl. This is another one of my favorite books. Look at that artwork. So for me, it's usually the art and the story that drives me to keep reading. Manara. Yeah. That's the good... Actually, I can show the Manara library. There's not a lot of sexy time in this one, I don't think. There we go. Yeah. Milo Manara. Ooh, so good. There we go. We can show that. But the erotica, let's just play it safe and no. Or the Borgias. And then down there, Jason Thompson. It's back when I used to write articles. I used to review manga for a magazine. And he gifted me that. Over here are books I am currently reading for fun. And I keep coming back to this, and the stack keeps adding up. And here we go. Marvel Masterworks. So I did end up keeping a lot of them because I'm like, okay, I gotta do proper reading orders. I need to actually have some of these books to show the artwork. And then I'm like, well, it's X-Men. As a matter of fact, we ran into one. Christian, could you hand me the X-Men we saw over there? See, this is the direct market cover, right? This is limited to, I think, 700 or so. No, this one's 676 copies. So these are harder to find. The standard one is available everywhere. So this is really volume 13. So it goes right here. Sticks out like a sore thumb. I know. The OHC's right here. The Marvel oversized hardcovers, which I'm keeping until they get eventually replaced. Like New Avengers, probably end up gifting them. So if you've ever watched my channel, yes, I do a lot of giveaways. A lot of giveaways. I was about to ask, why do I have 2 copies of Civil War? Oh, it's because one of them is Spider-Man. So yes, in alphabetical order and in publishing, or in reading order rather, I've Miss Marvel here because these 2 were not collected in the Omnibus. It's things like that that I love teaching people and why people come back to my channel. This is printed in the Chip Zdarsky Omnibus, but my wife really likes this, which is why we're keeping it. This has been released in an Epic collection. And again, most of this has been released in omnibus format. But the Best of Spider-Man isn't just the JMS era. It also has the Paul Jenkins era in here with Humberto Ramos. So it's got like Death in the Family. And again, not everything from the Civil War was collected in there. And then we have some Amazing Spider-Man over here, some Star Wars, and then epics. And those are specific X-Men epics. Again, I gave away a lot, and I'm like, wait, it's X-Men. Why am I not keeping it? Ultimate stuff, which I know we have a lot coming out in omnibus format, which is why I gift. Actually, just 2 days ago, my cousin, I was gifting him some of those of the Ultimate Spider-Man because I remember he loved it, and then Venom, which I need to gift to someone, Vision, and then Young Avengers, and then down there is where you're going to see the Star Wars trade paperbacks. I have gifted a lot of those as well, but I'm keeping some for just reading orders. And then over here is some of the stuff that was sent to me. This was lost in the mail. So here we go. Let's look at this one over here, for example. This is the Epicenter Comics. They had reached out to me and they sent me a package, and it got lost in the mail. And then a year later, it finally showed up at my house. And I was like, oh, I need to get a hold of them and let them know that it finally came. So that's something that I'm working on, reading and then doing an overview of these next books that I haven't opened up. But these, that one I read, and then that. Now, let's go around this way. These are wonderful bookends, by the way. Tales from the Crypt. Why no Berserk? I know, right? I need to get the Berserk one. This is the Omnibus Scott Pilgrim 20th edition, or the 20th anniversary box set. You have the black and white one and the color one. These you may have seen on my channel. This is Battle Action Force. Wonderful collections from, again, not just 2000 or Rebellion, but also the Treasury of British Comics and Skeletron. Put this wonderful book together. So if you're a fan of G.I. Joe, that stuff is awesome. Some more books here, like these were Kickstarters for Liam Sharp. My daughter has the Simpsons Treehouse upstairs, and then some more Kickstarters. Kaiju Max, if you haven't read that, that stuff is awesome. The Vampire Hunter D Kickstarter, and then we're mixing it in with some DC stuff here, like the Fables Compendium box set, the Batman One Bad Day, and then DC Deluxe editions over here. So you have the Tom King stuff, which is the #1 most requested DC Omnibus. And you have Flash Rebirth, which again has been replaced by the Omnibus, so I need to gift that. We only got one Green Arrow. The other stuff was canceled. Harley Quinn, which I'm keeping because the Omni didn't have all of that. Justice League, which they're coming out with an Omnibus format. For the Snyder stuff, not the Brian Hitch nor the Christopher Priest era. Nightwing, which we are getting Omnis of the Rebirth era and the Tom Taylor era. Suicide Squad, which we're getting an omnibus of. Woman of Tomorrow, which is a phenomenal series. Superman Action Comics and Superman Rebirth, which has a little bit more than the omnibus, which is why I kept that. Got this Demon Trilogy, which I love. I hope one day DC reprints them, because it's got stories in here like Birth of the Demon and Son of the Demon, Bride of the Demon. Batman Damned. These were gifted to me here from my buddy Super Laugh Hard Sonny, man. He's such a good guy. This is the Bruce Wayne Murder Fugitive storyline, but it's done in OHC format. There we go. That looks better. Robin, Batgirl, and Nightwing Year 1. And some of the Black Label books over here, which are different, right? Like they're different trim size than these. So they're like magazine size almost. Right here. Hopefully we'll get an absolute of that. Sean Gordon Murphy. And some more DC Deluxe editions. Some of them are Vertigo. And some of them are DC. I kept my 100 Bullets. You know, I cannot find my dust jacket for the 100 Hermano. Oh, Brother Lono. See, underneath the dust jacket it's written in Spanish. I love that. All of it is written in Spanish. And I was going to do an overview, and I'm like, wait, where the heck is my dust jacket? So I think it's down here somewhere. You've got Fables. So who knows where that will be. And then you've got Scalp down there. And Sweet Tooth. And then some other Vertigo titles. All right. Let's keep going. Okay, so moving away from DC and Marvel for a second. We've got some of my books that are independent, some stuff that I've seen used, of course I've seen it. I'm the one that edits the books or the videos that I've used for hidden gems and things like that. But down here, things that I really enjoy, books that I'm like, oh, I need to go back and read it. Um, some of my favorite stories, some that not just for hidden gems, but for just like standalone graphic novels. And I don't know how many times I've done these videos. I always point out the First Kingdom as some of my absolute favorites. My wife, some of these came from her that she gifted me over the years, and she's a big. I mean, without her, I would not be doing this. I couldn't be doing this. But you've got obscure stories, and then you've got wonderful stories in here that I've talked about. So a lot of these I may have talked about. Some of them I may not have. Prison Pit is so ridiculous, over the top, man. Like violence and gore. Oh, this is the hardcover edition. We loved. We lost Zuli, I think last year or 2 years ago, but his artwork for animals, and it's just amazing. He was such a wonderful independent artist. Of course, this wasn't the only thing he did, but this is probably my favorite book he worked on, and that's the Puma Blues. This is the complete saga in one volume. Flight, I've done a whole hidden gems on. There's Understanding Comics and Making Comics, sort of the swashbucklers from Hell. My favorite thing is Monsters. That's one of my wife's favorite stories right there. And over here, this is the shelf that I use for a lot of my hidden gems, like books that not a lot of people talk about. Some of these were sent to me. Some of these, like not by my all of them by my viewers, of course, but some of them are from people that have self-published, and some of them have become really good friends. Like this is Bang right here, Ballad of the Tiger from Josh Greathouse, in this cute little tankobon-sized book, but it's such a fun story. And he became really close friends with my wife. So it's edited by Melanie. This you can get through his shop. And there's just all kinds of stories up here, like Delicates and Spinning. And yeah, this is all books that you've seen in Hidden Gems. This is where I come and get them. And then eventually I'm like, oh, I got to replace them. I mean, some of them are over the top stuff like Hunter Ninja Bear, Imaginary Drugs, just IDW or self-published books, Dark Horse. There's a couple of Image titles in here, or things that you probably have heard of, like, this is Mark Waid's Empire. A lot of people haven't heard about that one for some reason. But yeah, this is where I come and pick out books, and I'm like, oh, I haven't talked about this one for a while, or hey, I need to talk about this, or this was a Kickstarter that I need to bring up because they're putting it out now for everybody. So a lot of my favorite stories come from here that I get to talk about in the Hidden Gems segment, or I may have done overviews of. And when I come to the shelf, sometimes I remind myself, or I'm reminded rather, I'm like, oh, that's right, this is where Pretty Deadly is. Or, hey, that's where Spy Superb went when it was supposed to be over on the other side. Or there's Sword Daughter. Oh, I was looking for that Torso book. So yeah, this is stuff that I do end up getting rid of, obviously, because I'm limited to the space, and I've done Hidden Gems for 5 years now on the channel, and it's about every month that I do it. And eventually, you start to rotate them. Some things I will keep, like until they release Infidel in a hardcover. I'm going to keep that trade paperback. That's one that I push. Or things like Life of Che, which was excellent, which hasn't made it into a hidden gem, but I think this will probably make it in like best standalone comics or graphic novels of 2025, or when I do that every November. I do it like right at Thanksgiving on purpose. Now, if you've seen anything so far and you're interested in picking it up and you live in the EU, check out our next sponsor.
If you're in Europe and you're interested in buying these books, definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices, flat shipping rate of €12 for all EU countries, emails answered within 24 hours, waltscomicshop.com, and you can use the code Near Mint Condition at checkout and get free shipping for all EU countries with your first order over €40. That's Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. Ding!
All right, let's get to the big books. We're looking at DC right now. A little bit of Image and Dark Horse as well. So let's start at the top here. This is where I'm keeping Sin City, and then we've got Berserker up here. Why is that there? Probably because my brother put it up there. That's okay. These are the slipcases of Spawn that I was talking about. And there is a volume 7 out. I just haven't done my haul video yet. Volume 3 of Invincible, the library editions, have not been. That one's the only one that hasn't been reprinted. All the other ones have, and then there's new ones. These are the slipcase editions, if you're a fan of that. And then there's The Witcher and these beautiful books. This is one of my favorite releases last year. Limited to 1,000 was the only problem that this is from 2000 AD, and it is Slain. Slain is like Conan the Barbarian. Like that's how my viewers were like. They got me hooked on it, and they sent some my way. And I thought, whoa, this is really cool. This is book 3, but this is Pat Mills and Simon Beasley. And just check out that artwork in this format, man. It's huge. These were released in a trade paperback edition too, but the slipcase editions came and went quick. Like, they did not know the power of Slain and collectors, like how much they have been craving things like this. But this is the slipcase edition. Let's move on to the Absolutes here. All right. So this is the Absolutes right here from DC Comics. I used to just be like, well, I've got the Omnibus, I don't need it. But because this is what I do, I show videos of books that are coming out, I end up getting the Absolutes as well. Sometimes I gift the ones that I don't want. Sometimes I just keep them. But this is like Batman over here. Then we've got Final Crisis over here. This is the new printing. My favorite, actually, I want to say this or Watchmen. I gifted my original one. Were my first Absolute editions. Those were my first Absolute editions. Green Arrow, Kingdom Come, and then of course Identity Crisis, Infinite Crisis, which I talked about being my favorite Crisis. New Frontier. This is the new printing of New Frontier, and Planetary over here. Down here we've got Metal, which I knew were coming out in omnibus format, but I'm like, well, I gotta get them. Multiversity over here. Promethea, one of my wonderful viewers reached out to me and made a trade with me because he knew I was missing these because I was waiting for the Immateria collection. It never happened. But now they're reprinting it. They're reprinting volume 1, which is just awesome. So make sure you come back and vote for our reprint polls. Superman for All Seasons, Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. I was just talking about that. This is the Swamp Thing right here by Bernie Wrightson and, of course, Len Wein. This one's a little bit different because they don't, they have new colors on it, but it's not colors like the modern colors that they use for the Alan Moore era. This is Jose Villarrubia trying to stay true to the colors that they used back then. It's beautiful, like absolutely beautiful. And again, it is been released in omnibus format with I guess as close to the original colors as you can get, but not these modernization of colors. Top 10. My buddy Kyle actually, that was one of the first books he sent me, and then of course this that everybody wants reprinted, JLA versus the Avengers. This is an Absolute edition right here. Comes with a little compendium, and it's not part of the DC versus Marvel omnibus. We've got Transmetropolitan, which is being reprinted, but this is the original ones with the Vertigo logo. V for Vendetta, which I had, and I gifted my original one. Wildcats over here, which they haven't reprinted yet. Wonder Woman, and then of course Watchmen and Doomsday Clock. And then we get into the DC Omnis, but we are actually going over here for that first. So over here we have these, we have some Silver Age that oh boy, I didn't finish that. This is the Golden Age stuff here. I keep it to do either reading orders or to show off some things. I've gifted, I think, all of them just about. But here we go in order. We got Brave and the Bold, 2 and 3, Aquaman, of course, Catwoman. Hopefully we'll get some more of that. Death Metal and Metal. And then Deathstroke, the Terminator, which we're getting this. See, that's what happens when your family comes over and they're like, oh, we got this, we got this. No, you do not. There we go. That's more like it. And Flash, let's see if they got this right. Wait a minute. They did not. Oh, yes, I get to do this live. All right, so the order is really William Messer Loebs, then Mark Waid 1 and 2, and then we get Jeff Johns coming over here with the 10th anniversary, Omnibus of Flashpoint, which yeah, technically you could do it that way. The New 52, and then this right here, the Joshua Williamson Rebirth era.
How do you keep all the storylines, creators, and everything in your head?
I don't remember my anniversary or my kid's birthday. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I think I make room. I don't. There's a lot of things I don't remember. I'll be honest. Important things. I don't know. I've always had a photographic memory when it comes to things. Maybe that's why I was a good project manager. I didn't like it. I was just good at it. This I love, and I'm okay at this. Jeff Johns, Green Lantern, of course, Patrick Gleason and Peter Tomasi's wonderful Green Lantern Corps series. And got some Harley Quinn. House of Mystery, they changed my dust jackets on me. Oh, I actually need to get the House of Secrets Volume 2. And my favorite, again, the stories in here have already been collected in this Absolute Edition, but this is more complete. The reading order in that is that's one of my favorite Omnis as far as reading orders. Injustice, Justice League, Bronze Age, and of course International 1, 2, and 3 right there. Leading us to JLA, which we don't have anything after JLA until we get to the New 52 era, which is just crazy to me. JSA, some of my favorite, that's probably my favorite Jeff Johns era book. And then we've got Legion of Superheroes and The Question, which we did it, baby. We wrapped it up. Red Hood. And then some more Omnis down there. Seven Soldiers of Victory. And there's the Superman stuff. So this is where it gets a little confusing, but I love doing reading orders. So whenever I go back to Superman, I'll explain why I have these a certain way. Hitman, Grayson, and then Generations. And of course, you can never have too much The Death and Return of Superman, which takes us over here. Now we can look at these. So yes, after the Absolutes is where we have more of the DC stuff. Like these are my custom Omnis of volumes 2 and 3, because who knows? Who knows if we'll ever get that? Who's Who and Wonder Woman, which remarkably has a lot of Omnis. We're getting the Greg Rucka era, which actually, no, the Greg Rucka era fits right after the Phil Jimenez era, and we get Gail Simone, Brian Azzarello. Young Justice, which we still need volume 2, and then 0 Hour. And then we get into the Vertigo stuff down here, or I guess what is known as Black Label later. Like 100 Bullets, we got American Vampire, Animal Man, both the Vertigo era and the New 52 era, The Authority, Books of Magic, and over here is the, Dead Boy Detectives, that's right, Doom Patrol, and The Invincibles, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen right there. But that's not everything, because I think they couldn't do a couple of the stories that are later. I want to, is it Fantagraphics that owns the rights to those? Lucifer down there, and then of course Swamp Thing, and Scalped, and He-Man, and the Masters of the Universe. And then Hellblazer. Why is Hellblazer all the way over here? I gotta talk to my family about their spelling. Now, if you come up here, it's where we have some more books that I didn't talk about. Some more of these Dark Horse books. This is from Dark Horse Direct. These are limited edition. Got some other books. I think I kept these up here because I was going to put it in my standalone books. Madman, Making Room for Volume 6, which I'll show you in a little bit. And then Powers over here by Brian Michael Bendis and Grendel. And let's get to Marvel. So if you come over here, we got... Well, before we get to Marvel, we'll talk about this. We got the Peanuts collection, which is my favorite comic strip. And then, of course, the Harrow County slipcase up there. We've got some box sets over here from Marvel. They did a few. They did the Dark Tower, and then they did Stephen King's The Stand. These are Annotated Sandman. Over here, the 1960 series, or the best of. This is handpicked by Stan Lee, or his favorite stories. And then editors came in and picked up some of the favorite stories. Do you know what the 1960s series are?
Me personally?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, So August 1961. Do you know why that date is important for Marvel?
That's when it started.
Well, yes, that's when the Silver Age officially began, or the Marvel era rather, because of Fantastic Four #1. So what they did is they put this omnibus together and reprinted every comic that came out in August of 1961, or that had the sell date of 1961, August of 1961, including the Fantastic Four. So a lot of the books in here don't exist anymore. It's a really cool labor of love, if you will, because it takes a lot for restoration. All right, here we go with Amazing Fantasy, where it kind of all began, really, for Spider-Man. And then the Annihilation era. So this is the modern era of Cosmic Saga. And in alphabetical order, of course, in reading order as well. So you have Spidey in here. So you may not see Amazing, but you'll see Spider-Man. You'll see Adjectiveless Spider-Man. You'll see the Spider-Man Clone Saga. Again, all of this in chronological reading order.
If someone were to want to read Volume 16 of the Epics while they wait, what would you recommend them to read?
Well, it's not out in omnibus format either, so don't feel too bad. Actually, some of it is over here in the Complete Black Costume Saga, or you can get the Marvel Masterworks. The Complete Black Costume Saga Volume 1 will have some of that stuff too, the trade paperback. Until we get that epic, and then JMS is Spidey, Brand New Day, which we'll need a Volume 2. Then we'll need Big Time, but here we go, Spider-Man with Joe Kelly, Superior Spidey, which leads into the big. This is another one of my favorite mapped events. Like, they did a really good job mapping that book. That is excellent, the way they mapped it. More Spider-Man, lots. And then we go into Spectacular Spider-Man right here. No web of yet, but that's coming later this year. Lance's Attacks and the new printings of the Avengers in omnibus format. There's a big gap because after that, there's no Roger Stern era in omnibus format, but we go to the leather jacket years, baby. The leather jacket years, and then we get the Crossing right here. Then some classic stuff like this Avengers by Kurt Busiek and George Perez. We get the new Avengers era, and then the Avengers We Need a Volume 2. Will that come? Who knows? Maybe one day. Avengers by Hickman. Then we go to West Coast Avengers over here. That's why I have Avengers by John Byrne, because it's really West Coast Avengers Omnibus Volume 3. Black Panther. I remember, like, if you go back to some of my earlier book tours, like, there was no Black Panther omnibus. Like, look where we are now. And we're getting Reggie Hudlin in March. And Black Cat, of course.
Is that still your favorite? Is it still your favorite book art underneath the dust jacket?
Oh, underneath the dust, it's up there, man. I like the way that they did that. The Ta-Nehisi Coates underneath. You remembered? Yeah, under the dust jacket. I think that's really cool. The pattern that they're using there. Very cool. Yeah, they've been using. I'll show you the Wolverines. Like, I like the fact that they're using like frames for that. Captain America Golden Age and Blade the Early Years. Captain America Silver Age 1, 2, 3. Jack Kirby got relabeled to Volume 4, and then we get a big jump and go to the Mark Gruenwald era. We got a Volume 2 coming later this year. So this is going to have to shift. It's the Mark Waid one. This is the one that had the bad binding on it. And I was able to fix mine. I actually showed a video on how to do that on the channel. Jurgens, and then the Brubaker stuff right here. Then coming in with Rick Remender. We go to Nick Spencer after that. And Ta-Nehisi Coates. And Captain Britain with Captain Marvel. And then we'll have that room right there for Volume 2, which is the death of Captain Marvel. And Captain Marvel has been... Look at that. We still need Kelly Thompson Volume 2, but just... Wow. Cloak and Dagger. I know Volume 1's out of print, and people are like, when's that going to get reprinted? It's crazy to me. We keep moving as I talk about this, like how people want something when it's gone. When it was there, people were making fun of the fact that Cloak and Dagger got a omnibus. Daredevil in chronological order. Right here. Some of the best written comics are Daredevil comics. And has been collected, especially the modern era, just... oh my gosh, to perfection almost. Dark Web, and then Dazzler down there. And Deadpool. Lots of Deadpool. And I do keep that separate from my X-Men. I don't know why, honestly. I'm not sure why I do that. But again, leading us to the Defenders and the smallest omnibus, and that is the Devil Dinosaur. 8 issues. So people thought Planet of the Apes. No, maybe this one has 9 issues. Nope. Planet of the Apes has 10 issues. Devil Dinosaur has 9 issues. So, very close, Planet of the Apes. Very close. Then we get Devil's Reign and the Book of Doom, which is another one that people want to come back to print, but that one kind of came and went. And then Doctor Strange. I know we're getting the Master of the Mystic Arts. Been collected really well in omnibus format. The Earth X, Jim Kruger, I love that stuff. Empire and the Eternals and the Evolutionary War. Which brings us to F, 1961. Fantastic Four, baby. So here we are with the Fantastic Four. And the John Byrne era of the Fantastic Four. Mark Waid, which has been reprinted. You all voted for it, so voting is very important. The Mark Miller era. As complete as you got to have it. John Hickman's era, and then Matt Fraction's era. Fear. Ghost Rider. We're getting a volume 2. Man, Ghost Rider's getting some love. Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't have Guardians of the Galaxy by DNA because that's collected within these 4 Omnis right here. Not this one, but these 4. So I don't need it. I've actually, that was our first giveaway, was I gifted that away. Long before Marvel ever sent me anything, I bought an extra copy, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to start giving things away. Not for tax write-off purposes, by the way. It's not that much of a tax write-off. Incredible Hulk, 1 and 2, and then the Peter David era, of course. We still need, like, the Bruce Jones era. We need a volume 3. We need a lot more Hulk. I'd love to see the remaining of the Greg Pak era collected, but I have these. These are OHCs. They're just here, because these are after the Greg Pak era. And this wasn't finished either in OHC format. Hulk by Cates and Otley, and then the Infinity Trilogy right here. But I keep Thanos. I know it's in alphabetical order, but it's still part of the Infinity Saga. And then Iron Fist. You have the classic and modern stuff. Now he's getting huge because of that Marvel Rivals game, so I'm sure they'll do the new character instead of Danny Rand. The Invincible Iron Man right here. So the first 3. These are all the Omnis. Believe it or not, this is all of Iron Man collected in omnibus format. You have the first 3. You've got the David Michelinie, Bob Layton, and John Romita Jr. You've got Kurt Busiek's Heroes Return run. You've got The Mask in the Iron Man by Joe Quesada. You've got Dan Slott's run. So just 7 Omnis to make up Iron Man. That's all we have so far. Hopefully there'll be more. Hopefully. And again, alphabetical order. And yes, King in Black is an event. Loki. 3 Loki Omnis. Luke Cage, Man-Thing, and the handbooks over there. I think we got another one coming. And don't forget to smash that like button. I haven't mentioned that, Christian. I forgot. Smash that like button, please. That goes a long way for us. The Marvel horror stuff here. So I have like Marvel as its own category in a weird way. Like Marvel Universe, you can go across and it goes to like Marvel Zombies, Marvel The End. Masters of Kung Fu, that actually had a one-time print run. That's what the editor had stated, along with the Deadly Hands of Kung Fu. So who knows if they'll ever reprint them. And then Moon Knight, the classic stuff. Moon Knight, another character that has been collected rather well. And then we have the 90s stuff and then the modern era, including some stuff by Jed MacKay right there. Morbius, Miss Marvel, which we still need an expanded one. And this is the Omar Bus, is what they called it in the Marvel office, because I really wanted that book. I feel like they just made that to kind of shut me up. And then Power Pack, another book series that once it's gone, it'll be gone. I don't see a lot of people wanting that in reprinted format. Back to the War, we need some more classic Punisher in omnibus format. We've got the Garth Ennis stuff in there, both the Marvel Knights and the Max series, and then Jason Aaron. And then, of course, Rick Remender's run. And Runaways. That's a custom dust jacket for Runaways because I didn't like that flesh tone to it. And then over here, so we'll do the manga tour sometime, I promise. I got to get new shelves. We have Conan the Barbarian, the original Marvel years, and Savage Sword of Conan, including the new Savage Sword of Conan that was printed by Heroic Signatures and Titan Comics. to match that beautiful Marvel Omnibus logo, including the trade. I love it. I love that this is coming together and making room for more. Is that enough room? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Enough for
We need
Conan.
Conan. We need, I think, 17 or 18 volumes of Savage Sword. King will have 3. They're doing a deluxe edition of Jim Zub's run. I'm here for it. Cole, and then Solomon Kane. I put Savage Avengers with my Conan because, let's face it, it is. And then we have these wonderful books that we actually ended up getting in 2024. ROM, complete. Micronauts, complete. Minus, of course, X-Men and Micronauts, I know. And Godzilla. I can't believe we got all that in 2024. That's insane. Secret Wars 1 and 2, and the 2015 series Secret Wars. Secret Warriors. Shulky over here. And Silver Surfer, we're finally getting a volume 2. See, this is... Who did this? Who did this? Probably me when I was hurrying up. Spider-Gwen and Squadron Supreme. That's the expanded one. This is a small omnibus. The Superior Forces Spidey. And then we have Timely's Greatest. These are the before war and the post-war. Down here we have The Thing. And then the Mighty Thor. I sold my volumes 1 and 2 many years ago. So I was like, I'll just get the epics. Now I'm like, well, maybe they'll reprint volume 2 one day. And Mighty Thor 4, the Walter Simonson, and this again, Thor collected rather well in omnibus format. I mean, ever since you have the Dan Jurgens Heroes Return era, this is bam, 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 bam. I mean, yeah, seriously, that's all of that, including things like Siege. Thunderbolts.
Isn't Thor the most collected in Epic as well?
He's about to wrap up, right? Either him or Captain America? Either him or Captain America. We still need like Walter Simonson's run. Thunderbolts has almost been all collected with the exception of the Dark Reign era. So that's the Warren Ellis and Andy Diggle era. But here it is, 1, 2, 3, Uncaged and Red. Ultimate Spider-Man with a volume 5 that is to come. The Miles Morales Ultimate Spider-Man, the Ultimate X-Men, and Ultimate Marvel by Jonathan Hickman over here. And then Venom. We want to eat your brain, Venom. So this is what I consider Venom 0 right there. And then 1, 2, 3 of Omnibus. We're getting an Agent Omnibus that goes in between that and here. We still need another one. And then the Squirrel Girl, which is a big book. I want to say that's the biggest omnibus. No, AVX is the biggest omnibus. And then War of the Kings. We have What If right here. We need a volume 3 to wrap up that 90s. We've got Wonder Man, the classic stuff. And then Young Avengers. The 2099 universe with Spider-Man, X-Men, and Ghost Rider. We have a Fantastic Four coming. And then down here is where I keep like the Star Wars Omnis. I need to do a reading order. Those are not in reading order. I know for a fact because my brother put them down there, and I'm like, okay, he doesn't know how these go, so I'll have to rearrange them. And lots of Star Wars, Dark Horse era and Marvel era, and then Aliens and Predator, and then cross-gen, and we have like Oz and Planet of the Apes. All right, now let's head this way.
So, Elmore, can you tell me what this is? I think we talked about it a few years ago, but go ahead and remind me.
Yes. These are books in the middle of working on reading for different publishers to do overviews. We've got them separated by Dark Horse. We've got some stuff from Mad Cave, from Titan Comics, from Dynamite, from Udon Studios. But, for example, over here, I've got this broken down by week, like... The following week, I need to read this stack of books over here because these are Marvel comics that are coming out every week. And they send me books about a month ahead of time. So I have enough time to read. And right now, I think this is the one, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so I use this as a placeholder. Like, okay, I've read this stuff over here. Now I need to move on to this week. And then it'll shift. I'll move things around like this. But it's that order. I've got some stuff over here from Rebellion, from Clover Press right here. This stuff that just came in, and I want to go ahead and do that. That's like a beautiful art book right there. But that's the kind of stuff that I have on this side. Now, since I'm gifted so much, I love to pay it forward. So over here is the stack of books that I'm going to give away. I have them over here for giveaways. For example, not just when I do giveaways, sometimes I just randomly select somebody that comments on my video and is, has been viewing my stuff for a while, and I just say, hey, you want this copy? Or I'm sure some of you all have actually reached out to have done that. But like Conan the Barbarian, this is stuff I'm gifting to one of my wonderful viewers who lost his entire home in a fire in LA. His entire collection is gone after like 40 years of collecting. And that stuff kind of hits close. And we built an awesome community, so a lot of our Discord members started donating gift cards and stuff over to him. Because there has to be, I understand, like losing something big, you have to have some kind of normality to your life. And if this helps a little bit, then it's the least we can do. But yeah, since I'm gifted so much from publishers, I don't get to keep it all. And I just have giant giveaways from time to time. And then, of course, giveaway stacks or I have parties where my friends come over and they pick up stuff for their kids, like or they pick up stuff for themselves, because I'm like, wait a second, is your kid really gonna read that Amazing Spider-Man omnibus? He's 6 years old. But yeah, it's truly a blessing. So this is the stack of stuff that I'm building up for the next giveaway, including some crazy movies my buddy Bruce sent me. And speaking of Bruce sent me this amazing near mint condition theater metal plate that's gonna go in here. Like this is where our TV room, our audio video room is. So I'm gonna put it up there. So next time we do the tour next year, you'll see this up there.
Speaking of 6-year-olds and Spider-Man, what was your first comic?
Uncanny X-Men 168. Still got it.
Omar, what is that stack in front of you?
We're almost done is what I was gonna say, Christian. We're coming back around. This stack is videos I'm working on next. Like, I don't talk about the death of Superman enough, I guess. But I keep them over here. I have books upstairs that I'm currently reading, and then this is the stack of books I'm currently shooting. Like, this has to be done by the end of the week. Over here is by the way, this, I need to mention, these two wonderful nameplates for the Astonishing Melanie and the Uncanny Omar. They were gifted to us from one of our wonderful viewers. This is because of you all. Like, I have to show that. So thank you all so much for subscribing, watching, and sharing our videos. You guys are amazing. I wouldn't be here without you all. Over here is my haul. Like, these are books I picked up recently that I need to shoot a haul for. So I try to condense my hauls now to 4 times a year. It used to be every month. But I'm like, okay, every month is kind of too much. Let's do it every season. Over here, my favorite shelves again, the horror shelves. You see Mike Mignola's Hellboy, Eerie, Creepy and Eerie, which now they're coming out in trade paperback format, so I can finally find those volumes that I was missing out on. I still am on the search. I took a picture of this just recently because I'm going to a comic convention in April and one in March, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to keep an eye out for them. Goon, which is now being collected in Omnibus format. Harrow County, which I know I have the library editions over there, or the big bucks, the big slipcase, but I still like these. They're beautiful. Nocturnals, Creepshow, so some new editions. This right here is from one of my wonderful viewers Like, this guy worked on Spider-Man, like the Spider-Verse. He was one of the artistic directors on that movie and sent us like a goodie bag. That I've shown off on the channel before, BPRD. My kids, my wife make these pixelated little things. I love them. My buddy Hunter owns Sentinel Comics in Georgia. There's the Spawn. And he was a viewer. And then he started selling things online. And now he has a physical storefront, and I'm so proud of him. In a time when people are closing comic book stores, he's opening one up. More hardcovers, Walking Dead, and the deluxe edition of Revival there. Mind Management, and Moon Shadow, which is freaking brilliant. Joe Hill's collection, and then Dynamite's Vampirella, the first 3 volumes, and those are coming out now in trade paperback. I just did the breaking news on those. Over here at the top, we have some manga. We've got some Prince Valiant, making room for more gallery and treasury editions over here from Marvel Comics. This is the Tintin box set. Little Nemo, and the one behind it are like some of my biggest books that I own. Here's the light that should not be here, but behind the light This is when I shoot videos. Because as you know, lighting, right, like has to be at a perfect angle so you can get rid of that gloss look to your books. The X-Men box set. One of my favorite things that Marvel ever sent me. My buddy Tim got me, or no, Ben, Spider-Man got me this. I've got viewers from overseas that sent me these stamps right here. Partsworks and Super Laugh Hard over the years. Beast Last, they've sent me stuff like this. So cool, man. Like I said, I'm very blessed and humbled by just the amount of love. And this is really cute. My daughters and I looked at that in 2020. And then, of course, the reason why a lot of people come and watch my stuff, the X-Men collected editions. Oh my gosh, I love X-Men. That's an understatement. X-Men Omnis mixed in with OHCs in chronological reading order. And I do reading orders on the channel. So, yeah, these are big. I love these books. And now we got a lot more since the last time I did this. Because I know the estimation wasn't there. Maybe House of M was there, but not the companion. Again, mixing some OHCs with that. Oh, this is my puppy, Nikita. My brother got that for me. She passed away a few years back. My kids. This is really cool. We won this last year from CBCA. It's the best Omnibus reviewer. It's really cool. It's got like light changes to the coloring there. That's cool. Very proud of that. And something else I'm very proud of back here is our very first near mint condition variant cover for Extremity, which is one of my favorite Daniel Warren Johnson books. So I'm happy that it was for something like that. But yes, that I am very proud of. Means a lot. You know, the channel's come a long way. The biggest omnibus, I was just talking about that, the Avengers versus X-Men. Then we've got this. Again, our viewers send us the coolest things. More X-Men, the Krakoa era. Somebody was asking, where did you get that Cyclops and Wolverine? And I was like, oh, my kiddo, my Lydia made that for me. Who's on my videos a lot of the time. And they were like, do they hold hands? And I'm like, no. I wonder how many people think they're a couple. Maybe they are. Excalibur over here. We need a volume 4 to finish that out. We need a volume 4 of New Mutants to finish that. Wolverine, this is one of my favorite dust jackets, or underneath the dust jacket design too. It's like what they did with this one here is panels from the comic book. I love that. I think that's great. Take actual panels from the inside comic. Oh, it's so awesome. Glad they did that. No reprint of volume 1 yet, and we have a volume 6 coming. There's the other Mark Millar Omnibus, the Jason Aaron run, X Factor. This is what happens when my wife is reading a book. I have to have the dust jacket down here to know that she's borrowing it. So that's a placeholder right there. And sometimes I worry about books leading over, but I think that one's fine. New Mutants, as I said, we need a volume 4. We got a reprint of X-Force this year, or in 2024, sorry. Deadpool and X-Force, Cable and X-Force. Again, reading orders. And then down here. So behind me are always my favorite books. We have Udon Street Fighter down there. You all know I love Udon. You all know I love Transformers. So we have the complete IDW Transformers here, including some customs that were made because those books never came. IDW lost the rights. And in proper reading order, some Hellboy down there, Batman Animated, Batman Arkham down here. This is really cool because our channel helped make this happen, and that is The Boys. Omnibus 1, 2, and 3. I know I have the absolute versions, but it means a lot that our channel made this happen when we voted for it. And this one's special because Mark Silvestri sent that to me before it was out. The Kickstarter was even out. My favorite comic book artist of all time. Nightwing down there, those are customs. These were custom sent my way. This is not a custom. This is the one I was talking about, the Elsewhen. It's John Burns thing he did for fun, and then he just stopped because he was like, I'm not having fun anymore. It's all in black and white. What if John Byrne had kept on writing the X-Men? Pretty cool, man. It's back there's like Warland and some of the stuff that my buddy Kyle sent my way, like Dreamwave stuff that just has never been collected, like #1 issues, and then more Transformers. and then the Phoenix Omnibus, the dreaded Phoenix Omnibus, and X-Men animated series and Batman 66. Up here we have some more box sets, manga, Calvin and Hobbes, and Farside. Oh, yes, Scrooge, and by Don Rosa, of course. Life and Times here, beautiful edition. The Diamond Jubilee Karl Barks edition. This was gifted to me right here. The Uncle Scrooge, His Life and Times. These are artist editions over here, and this is the Apex edition, which is the same as IDW's. The Image just started getting into the game with the Vault edition, so this is Savage Dragon Vault edition they sent my way. These are the Taschen books. My buddy Newspooey Channel sent that to me. Dark Horse. And the big monster books over there from Marvel Comics. Which is crazy insanity. And my favorite absolutes. I have to limit myself, right? So I went with these. Absolutely love Preacher, one of my favorite series. Swamp Thing, of course, even though with the new colors. Day Tripper, Sandman, all of them, including Death and Overture. And then we have Kirby's Fourth World over here, which I know I have the Omnibus, but these designs by Chip Kidd are just amazing. Like, I love what he did with this. Like, you've got, hold on a second, I've got the leaflet right there, but you've got Darkseid's face right there. Look at that, that's awesome. And then Jack the King right there himself. Books I never thought we'd ever get. DC versus Marvel, they're here in the amalgam. Books I'm currently reading for overviews, right over here. And down here are the Batman Omnis in chronological order. So these are books you'll always see behind me. I love Batman, I love Omnis, and these are some of the best. You have Batgirl over here, Batwoman, Mage in hardcover slipcase edition, Colossal Conan. These are bigger than your regular Omnis. Big damn Sin City. Kind of like Hellboy and that Harrow County. Starman, Swamp Thing again, even though I just have Swamp Thing up here, but these have the original, or as close to the original colors as you're going to get. The Tatiana Wood colors. And then, of course, the box set of Usagi Yojimbo from Fantagraphics, which is not collected in the Usagi Yojimbo saga over here. Star Child, I need to talk about that. God Country, Power Rangers over there, and Berserk and Blade of the Immortal, which you'll see more in the manga tour, because I got to get my volume 13 and 14 back from Tina. The Rick Remender libraries right here, and more Mighty Morphin Power Rangers there, and down at the bottom, and if you're interested in purchasing any of the books and you live in America, check out our sponsor in America.
CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget, the CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more.
Whew. Well, hope you stuck around till the end. Thank you again so much for watching. Thank you to our wonderful viewers that have sent me things over the years, publishers that I've been working with over the years. Thank you for watching and hitting that like button and asking me when my tour is coming. I promise the manga tour will be coming later this year if Christian is willing to record it. I just have to get some new shelves, or building new shelves, custom shelves for some of the books over there and over there. Of course, I'm pointing where you can't see. But that's it. That was it. Thank you to our patrons for making videos like this possible. Thank you to YouTube and all of you. And I got nothing else to say other than that, as they say, is that.